Welcome back to We Are Live at Midcoast Studio in St. Louis, Missouri. We have a very special treat this hour as we'll get to our Ascot All-Stars. Wanted to say thank you to Pet Once St. Louis West as they deliver fresh pet food around the St. Louis area for your animals today. That's right, Pet Once St. Louis West. Say hello to Lynette and the gang for fresh, local, delivered, wonderful products and food for your pets, everybody. So we've got the Ascot All-Stars. We've got a few other things to get into. Mr. Gardner, this is an esteemed awards ceremony. You've done a wardrobe change.
Thank you, Travis.
We're very proud of you, and we feel like this is kind of your time to shine. If you would, give us a quick overview.
What's that, Tommy?
You look like Colonel Sanders got into freebasing.
Nice pull.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It'll work.
That's funny.
The 7th annual MLB Ascot All-Stars. I go through the 40-man rosters of every Major League Baseball team and find names that sounds like someone could wear an ascot. I then break it down by position, break it down by league, and create a roster.
Tommy, Chris, get off your phones. Get off your phones. Pay attention. Gardner's doing his presentation.
You scared the hell out of me.
Sorry, Gardner, continue.
American League and National League. Thank you, Travis. The rosters for each league: one catcher, one first baseman, one second baseman, one third baseman, one shortstop, one designated hitter. Yes, the DH is in the NL in this.
Oh, my.
3 outfielders.
Non-purist.
And 3 pitchers. It'll be here soon enough. We just got. This is my way of kind of easing people into it. So, I'm ready to present the rosters for each team, if that's okay with everybody. We okay?
Let's fire it away. Where are we starting position first? Nice.
Brooks Brothers isn't going to flag us for copyright issues, are they?
Probably.
Just letting this settle in a little bit. It's kind of nice.
Travis would chop and screw it, put a bunch of beats in it.
This reminds me of my summers when I was little.
Vivaldi's 4 Seasons? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's begin with the National League team. The National League team, everyone.
Senior circuit.
At catcher. From the Reds, Tucker J. Barnhart.
Wow.
Tucker J. Barnhart.
And we'll release these on Twitter as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
First
It
baseman.
sounds like
go ahead.
Sounds like his family has a judge on standby in the event that one of his kids sexually harassed one of the cheerleaders at the high school.
Okay. Yeah.
Boys will be boys in the Barnhart clan.
The Barnharts.
First base from the Phillies, Reese Hoskins. And Reese is spelled R-H-Y-S.
It's a pretentious
Oh, yeah,
spelling.
he definitely has some Mexican nannies.
At second base from the Reds, Scooter Jeanette.
Okay.
Scooter
Interesting.
Jeanette.
Scooter chipped in from several yards out, right?
Third base from the Dodgers, Max Muncy.
There's your winner so far. Short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah.
Probably says the N-word.
There's no doubt.
At shortstop.
While playing polo.
At shortstop from the Atlanta Braves, Dansby Swanson.
That's a good one.
Oh, his family owned people.
Yes.
Correct.
Right.
Absolutely.
He was appalled.
Like they still
on
own people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on the DL.
Yeah.
Now to our outfield. From the Cardinals, Harrison Bader.
Oh, and he's even got the rich guy, little curly mullet thing where it's like not long hair, but it's a little bit flowy.
It's something.
Yeah.
Harrison.
And he's definitely MAGA.
He seems like he
Definitely
can
MAGA. He comes from the Northeast as well.
Also an outfielder from the Marlins, Lewis Brinson. Lewis. And Lewis is
First
spelled
brother.
Lewis, so that's kind of why I went that way.
Do you accept Louis Brinson as your African American Ascot representative?
If his name was Lou, like, hello, Lou.
That's a different team.
What's good,
Welcome to
Lou?
the league.
Okay.
And finally, in the outfield, from the Pirates, hasn't played it all this year because he's on the IL, but he's on the 40-man.
I don't know what either of those things mean.
No.
Lonnie Chisenhall. Lami Chisenhall. Now, he switched leagues this year, so that was a big. Now,
it's a big coup.
I will say there's one omission that didn't make it. I thought he was on the 40-man for the Padres, but he's not. He's in the minors right now. He was on the American League team last year. That was Herschel Boog Paul. So I was disappointed I didn't get to use him.
Yeah.
And your designated hitter from the Giants, Buster Posey.
Okay.
Buster Posey.
Yeah.
The 3 pitchers for the National League team from the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw.
That's good.
From the Pirates, Jameson Taillon. Jameson Taillon.
Yeah. And it looks
And
like
how does he
Italian.
spell that, by the way?
Which
It looks
part?
like Italian, doesn't it?
Yeah, Taillon.
Yeah.
The ability with
you know,
the
he,
stiff-
he was happy to see those tax cuts.
Yeah.
With a stiff upper lip to correct people on the pronunciation of your last name is a big part. Yeah.
Now, the final pitcher here, and this is rounds out the National League team, used to be a Cardinals prospect as an outfielder and got some, it was a recognizable name for a little while. Now he's a pitcher with the Cubs on their 40-man roster to finalize the National League team. Rowan Wick.
Oh, I like that.
Rowan Wick.
Rowan's a nice name. I might name my kid Rowan.
Rowan?
You got one?
Rowan. I
You're
got
not
Rowan
having
and I got
kids. No,
Finn.
Stop.
Finn? Finn's a good
Finn.
Irish name.
Finnegan. I like the name Finnegan.
That's a fantastic name. All right, that's the
Doctor.
2019 National League Ascot All-Star roster. We move on to the American League.
Not
which
bad, you know.
Is, not bad, NL.
Rowan Wilson.
Loaded for the American League. The American League is absolutely loaded. We start at catcher.
Okay.
The Tigers. Grayson Griner. Grayson Griner.
Now he has 6 siblings, and they all have G starting with their name, right?
I would think so. They
Grayson.
go from the alliteration.
Grayson, Gregory, Grant,
Yeah.
George the Third.
And then Griner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Griner of the family Grant. Never mind.
First base. At first base from the Yankees. Was on the team in the National League last year. Louis Linwood Voigt III.
Oh.
Luke Voigt.
St. Louis.
Oh, man.
St. Louis
oh, man.
native.
Yep.
So he probably flew a Blue Lives Matter flag on the back of his Rolls Royce when he drove to Busch Stadium.
Can you repeat that name for me, please?
Louis Linwood Voigt III.
That's right, the third.
And then at second base from the Royals, he won the Golden Ascot last year as the MVP. Whitley Whit Merrifield.
Feels good to say that, doesn't it?
Whit Merrifield. His teammate with the Royals at third base, also very good. Chesler Cuthbert.
Excuse me?
Chesler Cuthbert.
That sounds like a Muppet name.
Yeah.
At shortstop from the Red Sox.
we have my goodness,
Yeah.
we may have a new winner. That is solid money.
Chesler would literally turn you away from his estate if you brought a bad bottle of wine. That's the thing.
At shortstop from the Red Sox, Xander Bogaerts.
Xander's
Xander
always top.
Bogaerts.
He only drinks
Ale
bottled
stack this
water.
season.
And I wanted to make clear, if I didn't make it clear already, Addison Russell is not eligible for the team.
You will take a stand. You will take a stand. Okay.
Now to the outfield for the American League. From the Athletics, Sky Bolt.
Wow.
Sky Bolt. S-K-Y-E. Bolt.
Now his family started an organic grape farm. They're super rich, but they are the hippie version
Well,
of
see,
that.
the thing was, I'm like, is Sky an Ascot name or not? I go, let me go to that lacrosse team name for guidance and see if there's something similar. Oh, there's a bleeping Sky on that team. I'm like, okay, that answers that for me.
Yeah.
What's the name again?
Sky Bolt. S-K-Y-E.
Yeah, he definitely sounds like he's friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
Also in the outfield, from the Twins, another brother, Byron Buxton.
Byron Buxton's awesome. And yeah, that's an extra special one because he's black. Because that is a very, that is a country club name.
Now, finalizing the outfield in the American League from the Astros, George Chelston Springer the third.
Another
George
the third.
Chelston Springer the third.
No, with that guy,
Chelston released. Yeah.
it sells it for sure.
The designated hitter. We're going Latin. That might surprise some people for the Ascot team. A catcher from the White Sox. Wellington Castillo. Wellington
That's a good name.
Castillo.
That is a good name.
He's the guy the girl falls in love with on like those rom-coms where they visit another country.
Here's my thing with a name like
He's got
that.
the little mustache.
You think with a name like that, when he's having
facility.
intercourse, he tells a girl to say his name?
Wellington? Wellington.
Like, can you imagine a girl like during intercourse
no
going,
bread,
"Oh,
but-
Wellington"?
You guys ready for my Wellington beef?
Oh, boy.
There you go.
Now, that's not very
There you go,
Ascot-y
Tom.
if you behave like that.
That's not Scotty now.
No. Now, to the pitchers. This first name is the one that knocked J.A. Happ off the team. From the Angels, Griffin Canning. Griffin Canning. I thought it was Channing.
Griffin
at first.
does it.
It's actually Canning.
Another correct.
How do you spell it?
Canning. So
Okay.
even like what I thought. His name's not even what I thought it was. So that's even better. Another pitcher from the Astros, who used the bullpen cart last year, and God bless him for doing so. Colin McHugh. Colin
To the point.
McHugh.
Right to that.
He
blue
definitely
bullet.
loves going around touching black girls' hair.
And finally, on the American League team, a pitcher from the Rays, Chaz Rowe. Rowe. An absolutely loaded American League team.
Chaz Rowe almost got kicked out of Princeton whenever he stomped out another fraternity brother for spitting on his sweater he had tied around his shoulders. Yeah, he's got an anger problem.
So there's your teams for the American League and National League. Your 2019 Ascot All-Stars.
Well done, Gardner.
Golf clap, please.
Well done.
Golf
Not
clap,
too
for
loud.
the gentlemen.
Not
Golf
too
clap.
loud. Be dignified here.
That's
Be opulent.
kind of a gross sound there,
Let's
Trev.
be opulent yet not overly ostentatious, okay?
Been a while since I heard that.
So yeah, the American League really has a good squad, as you can see. A lot.
If you
of good
had to
names.
guess, if you had to genuinely guess of all the members on your Ascot All-Star teams, percentage of them who genuinely voted for Donald Trump.
1%.
1%?
1%.
They are the 1%.
What to say? I would venture to guess 90% of those guys voted for Trump.
I don't think it's that
I think
many.
that, I was going to say, I think
I don't
it's
either.
low.
I think it's really low. I think it's like maybe 5%.
Oh, no, I think that I think it's 95%.
Oh.
Of those people,
Jeez.
you got to think.
Of those people, you say it's
a lot of tax
95%?
implications when you're a millionaire.
Yeah, but none of those guys.
'Cause
seem
that's
like they
the
might be
reason.
millionaires.
I would say 8. I would say 8 people.
Of how many?
Yeah.
A
22?
lot.
So you're saying roughly like 40, 50%?
8 of 24.
Okay.
Because I know
Okay.
some. I know how a few of them view the world.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Ascot All-Stars 2019.
I
Gardner,
think-
wonderful work.
I think the Golden Ascot. Do we give it
It's
to,
gotta go to the-
Chesler Cuthbert this year?
We had the most natural reaction to that. Wouldn't you agree, Travis?
Yeah, Chesler, that's a name. You can't. Chesler Cuthbert? Like,
There's a name.
I wouldn't even be mad if he called me the N-word because his name allows him to do so. I'm like, you probably own Wells Fargo, so you probably can do that.
So that's how that works. I didn't realize that.
That's
all
the
I had to do
standard.
was change my name.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
I
change your name.
I could be
and-
so much funnier if I would just change my name.
Now here's the thing.
Yeah.
So if I.
Where do you think Chesler Cuthbert is from?
Connecticut,
I knew. I figured
I
you
was
might
gonna
go there.
say.
Massey.
somewhere in New England area.
Nicaragua.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe don't judge a book by its cover, Travis.
Wow.
No, actually, that makes a ton of sense. That's probably where they hid their money. That's the only way you can access it.
They're in
Blonde
the
hair.
sugar business. That makes sense.
Blonde-haired,
Yeah,
blue-eyed
there
it is.
kid from Nicaragua.
He has not blonde hair and blue-eyed. I will say that right now.
What is he?
He looks like a Latin fella.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Chesler Cuthbert.
like the Latin fellow that comes around on Tuesdays.
I talk like that when I put this ascot
Yeah.
on. I don't know why.
How do you feel? Do you feel above us having made this list? I mean,
He already feels.
I
above
am
us.
wearing
true.
a Brooks Brothers sport coat here.
that is true.
It is
Did
pretty.
you buy it at Goodwill?
No,
And who's your
it was
ascot?
a gift to me.
Your ascot was from the mayor of St. Chuck.
Yes, the
Okay.
ascot. I don't know where the ascot is from. The
Hmm.
shirt is Daniel Cremieux.
Or
Yeah.
is your hair conditioned with progressive tears this morning? How does that work?
Do people do that?
Probably. Travis?
Do people wear ascots?
No. Do they bottle left-wing tears to sell to the right for hair conditioner?
Oh, I think that's how it works. I think that's the only reason why the right wing does anything, so they can bottle up left wing tears and sell it to their cohort.
Good.
See, I mean, they're
'Cause
looking.
that's what you got to do. You gotta do whatever to own the libs. Whatever you can do to own the libs, you take a shot at owning.
It's
the
always
libs.
about owning stuff, isn't it? It's always
It
about
is.
owning
It is
stuff.
with them. It is definitely. It's always about ownership.
Now, I will say I don't have a manager or general manager for this list,
Yeah.
but if I were to add a general manager, it would probably be with the New York Mets. Brody Van Wagen,
Yeah.
I would think would be the call if I went general manager. I hadn't really thought
He's the
about
general
it.
manager of the Mets, right?
Yeah. So that would be the call there. You know, maybe we'll add the slots next year, but I wanted to stay true to form.
Well, your
What we've
production
had.
team did a wonderful job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we got the rosters ready to go, and I'll roll
Tommy,
these
put your
out
damn
on
phone
Twitter.
down.
What's up?
Put your damn phone down.
It is. It
Or I'm
is.
gonna start talking about how shitty of a comedian you are again.
There it is.
That's always fun.
It certainly is. Yeah, we got 25 minutes left. Let's drown in that for a little while. Gardner, any parting shots? Do we need to target Grey Poupon next year? Will Grey Poupon ever move away from those 90s commercials?
Probably not.
I don't
if we
think
get
so
a
either.
sponsor for the Ascot
It's mustard,
All-Stars.
and they tried to make it seem elite.
I wonder
But
if I
honestly, I think Grey Poupon, if it wasn't for those commercials, they would not. I think we should give that marketing campaign
They
more
crushed
credit
it.
because it's understood now. It's not even that's fancy mustard. Like it's not even fancy mustard, but we think of it as fancy mustard because of a commercial from 25 years ago.
And then Wayne's World parodied it. Everyone parodied. That was high humor for 7-year-olds running around too, asking people if they had any Grey Poupon.
I was thinking of
Do
maybe.
you miss those commercials? Do you guys miss those 90s commercials like that? Like
Yeah.
even the
Some,
Mentos
yeah.
commercials? Like
Yeah.
I miss the commercials that confused the shit out of you.
Right.
You knew what they were selling, but you didn't understand why they were using that method to sell it.
What about Hulk Hogan and what was it? Right guard?
Yes.
Anything
Right
else
guard.
would be uncivilized.
Macho Man, snap into a Slim Jim.
That was
Yeah.
2000s, wasn't it? Or was
I-
that 90s?
Promise.
No,
this
that
has
was
something to do with
90s.
it. Have you guys seen the Foo
What?
Fighters video for Big Me,
Oh yeah.
where they make fun of the Mentos thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I first learned how weird those commercials were.
That was
Yeah,
an amazing
you don't miss
music
them
video,
because
too.
you missed them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why.
because you literally
Yeah.
missed them.
I
Like remember, like even the Pepsi, I remember the Pepsi Clear commercial. Like they made that dramatic. Who was the band? What music? Like,
NSYNC.
man, no, it wasn't. It was before them.
Fair
But I
enough.
forgot the band that rolled out the Pepsi Clear commercial. Like, it was just so dramatic and over the top. I miss kind of those commercials. I wish they would bring those back. They were just so ridiculous, but so effective. Because that's how you're like, no, I don't give a damn about no Mentos. But those commercials make you go, all right, I'll try it because that's just absolutely asinine.
So
Like even the, what was a Klondike bar? What would you do for a
or
Klondike bar?
hmm
So in Stranger Things 3, they mentioned New Coke, which
Mhm.
apparently was a big failure and wasn't very good.
Yep.
Right? Is that the general consensus?
It was a
believe
huge
so,
debate
yeah.
in the mid 80s. It was a
All
huge
right.
debate in the 80s. It was like
So-
the dress.
So Coke used the Stranger Things publicity of New Coke, and they put out a limited edition version of it. You can order it online,
Smart.
and you can get
Smart.
New Coke. And I really wanted to know what New Coke tastes like because I love Coke, and so I ordered some yesterday. I
Clip
ordered-
off him.
Did
just
you
saying,
really?
I love Coke.
Yeah, I really did order a couple cans of New Coke.
It's pretty awesome. Oh, the ad, by the way, you're right, Travis. It was super dramatic. It was Van Halen and their song "Right Now."
Van Halen, right now. Thank
With
you.
Sammy Hagar.
Okay.
Yeah, Van Hagar.
That's
Excuse
right,
me.
right.
Yeah.
So
that went over well here.
Right.
Real well.
This
St.
was
Louis
the best
is the one
market.
city in
Yeah.
the world where they're like, thank God they got rid of that amazing showman, David Lee Roth. We got the Red Rocker, man.
I
We're the
do
best
miss
market for
90s
that.
marketing campaigns. I do miss those campaigns. I think we brought it up before on the show, but remember when 7-Eleven did this huge campaign with The Simpsons on Who Shot Monty Burns?
Yeah.
Like that was a massive campaign. Like I miss those campaigns, and maybe they still do it on other products that maybe I just don't use anymore. But I love those campaigns because they were just so ridiculous and cheesy. At the same time, they did get you interested into actually trying certain products that you normally wouldn't try. Again, I didn't care for Klondike bars, but I mean, the Klondike bars were the ones where they would ski in your face, right? The snow would go in your face as soon as you bite into it.
Did what
Was
in
that the
your
one?
face?
Ski in your
Ski,
Yeah.
skis. Ah, shit. Shit.
Don't forget.
No, that's Adam Carolla, Fred.
Well,
Did
yeah.
you say ski or skeet?
Ski,
Yeah.
Oh,
SKI.
okay.
Please don't kill me. Please don't audio.
Now we're
Oh, I love
forgetting.
it when they skied in your face.
Yeah, I loved it.
Right after Tommy loves
7-Eleven's
Coke.
been really, really good at marketing forever, though. I remember when Star
True.
Wars Episode 3 came out in 2006, they released all those limited edition cups, and I still have all of
Yes.
them on my mantle.
Now,
Limited
You have a
edition
mantle?
cups. They
Yeah.
were so simple. They were like, and people collect. Like, if there's one thing that is consistent in my community, are those types of cups. Like my
Yeah.
parents and grandparents collected those cups, so they should bring those type of campaigns back. People love that shit.
Do you think something got lost when the internet came around?
Yes,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
doubt,
for sure.
no doubt.
We're
No
not
doubt.
even
And then
talking
marketing
about,
budgets. Yeah, you look at people's marketing budgets and realize how thin the margins are. Like to run those type of campaigns, like would just be asinine today because they cost so much money. Like I can't imagine what a Simpsons 7-Eleven marketing campaign would cost in 2019. That would have to be in the upwards of hundreds of millions of dollars.
No, the best one, and I'm going to actually put a poll of this. That I had two favorites that I think of, but we're obsessed with sports and we're this age too. Little Penny with the voice of Chris Rock as a puppet, Anthony Hardaway. Truly funny, like genuinely funny
Yes.
ads.
Yes.
And then Chicks Dig the Long Ball with McGuire, Greg Maddux, and Tom Glavine. I mean, you can think about it how we view things now, but I was 10 years old and ran and bought a Chicks Dig the Long Ball T-shirt because I loved that. That it was kind of in the vein of the Sports Center commercials too, how they shot it.
Yeah, I think Nike. I would love to see a marketing off Super Bowl moment between Nike and Disney, or even the beer companies. Like those are the three entities I think throughout my lifetime that have been consistent. The beer company, specifically Anheuser-Busch. You look at the Pepsi, Coke, they do a very good job. Nike's always consistent. Nike's recent campaign for the women's soccer team, for example, that was a beautifully well done commercial. And then Disney, of course, they just like they can hype up and market anything as well as anybody in the world. Like those are the entities that still to this day, like they're just consistently excellent.
And then I'm also you made a point of it already, but even just the what up, like the stupidity involved with that. And I even thought like marketing like the dilly dilly thing legitimately turns me off. I think it's so stupid.
Really?
It's so dumb, but because of the fallout, it's why I hate Sublime. I probably don't hate Sublime. I hate the people that talk about Sublime all the time, and I can't deal
There
with
it
it.
is.
I can't deal with
That's
it.
fair.
Babylon.
Sublime.
Ugh.
What about fish?
Listen, I want people to listen to whatever they want to listen to, but
So that he can
Sublime-
judge them.
Sublime fans have a special place of hate in my heart.
What about ska music in general?
Ska's fun. Ska's fun. With the Sublime folks, they get a little serious about however they're living.
Does that mean you're going to go see some ska shows this weekend?
I will not see ska shows this weekend.
I am.
But you did, Travis, those things but I say that, but then I'm also man enough to admit, all I see everywhere is dudes going, dilly dilly. Gee, I yelled dilly dilly.
I don't
like
get it.
that's so smart, and they're so good at what they do, right?
I know. I would honestly. I know. we actually had an exec in who's now a comedian and now a world-class television actor, and Tone Bell, who did marketing, of course, for Anheuser-Busch before he got into the industry. I would love to bend his ear and others like him more about what goes into some of these promotions, because you're right, Dilly Dilly is like someone sat in a room and knew a bunch of college bros would be saying that for 6 to 12 months. And I really want to know the research that goes into that, because you're right. Because who would have thunk that something as goofy as "what's up" would become a cultural phenomenon? How did they know? Like, did they know? Did they figure that, like, they know we're stupid. I know they know that much. But I'm wondering, do they know? Like, how do they see "what's up" not flopping? Like, that could have been embarrassingly bad.
It's a
We don't
giant
know.
ad campaign that Bud Light did. It's like they're saying, because they had the Bud Light night and there was a dilly dilly and drink. And it was their commercial push.
Yeah.
I don't watch a ton
It
of
was basically, yeah,
So
they
it's
took,
just like a
a
night
little
that
bit of
went
the
dilly
energy
dilly
from
and
Game
then
of
drinks
Thrones.
beer?
Right.
Yeah.
What?
And
Exactly.
it culminated in
And
a
they
Game
took
of Thrones commercial at the Super Bowl style commercial.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was.
But they
it
built
was
off that hype.
Genius.
They built off the Game of Thrones Knights hype, and they used the language, and people were into it. And it was, to Chris's point, it was incredibly stupid, but
recently?
it was very popular, and it probably
Just in it.
helped their margins. Like, it's fascinating. Like, I would, like, New York is the marketing capital of the world. I don't understand how those people like bring those type of ads together and they work so seamlessly. Because you're right, Dilly Dilly should have been something that if you brought that up into a room, I would have probably laughed your ass out of it.
If you
But
brought that
it's
to me and said that Hillside Animal Hospital should start doing it, or whatever, I'd be like, Travis, how much weed did you smoke? Like, don't ever talk about that ever again. And then they come out and just.
But imagine being the person, Chris, you've done sales before. You've done these kind of pitches. Can you imagine being the person in the room that is like with a straight face looking at an executive that holds your career in his hand going, so here's the thing, Dilly Dilly, people will be saying this all over the world. Like, how do you not laugh that person out of the room?
Well, I guess you just
I
have
want
to.
to see what happened when it was tested. Would like to see those rooms.
It just shows
Yes.
it just shows what kind of structure they have in
Well,
place.
maybe they know who's drinking their beer.
No, that's exactly what they know, and they're.
Is there like
good at it.
algorithms for that stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Now
God.
at
I would
this point?
imagine.
Yeah.
I would imagine
Because
so.
I imagine it'd be different in the
Definitely.
90s, but now they probably were like, oh, these words together.
Met with someone in the liquor business yesterday and spent half of our
Bryan Cranston?
conversation. No, but they did. Half of our conversation was talking numbers and what people are into and what they go check out.
Well, like a lot of commercials now are like Tim and Eric sketches. If you go watch Cartoon Network during the day, all of the like candy commercials and stuff like that, they're so bizarre. They're like Tim and Eric sketches. There's have you guys seen the Lunchable commercials?
Mm-mm.
It is a beaver and a platypus. They're realistic, like super realistic puppets, and they just talk and do stupid stuff. One of them wears a backwards cap.
And that sells to kids.
Yeah, it works.
Do you eat
Look,
Lunchables?
I do eat Lunchables, but that's not here or there. I eat they're cheap. Sorry.
To
guys.
Tommy's point, no. I was going to just piggyback off your point. That's something I actually was curious about. Ken Scarborough, who's the head writer for Sesame Street, that was one of my initial questions to him. How do you know when a character or a storyline is resonating with an audience, or especially children? How do you know? Like, they have these research facilities set up throughout the country where they'll get information from educators and students themselves, but they really never know. So it's a lot of these people, they do go into the room and they're kind of, I'm not assuming, but it isn't an exact science. So it takes a lot of courage, I would imagine, for that individual to be in that marketing room and go, "What's up?" or "Dilly Dilly." Like, can you imagine going to Harvard for years and then that's your thing. Your thing is Dilly Dilly, and that's how it works.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, with those companies in particular and who they're marketing to, ridiculous works.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, there is a formula to it, but it's like
They also have the padding to screw up. Like, their world isn't over. You can take bigger swings on things when you have room for screw ups, because X amount of people are just buying the damn stuff anyway. You're just trying to grow your market share, and then you can take those creative big cuts, right? You're not going to, if a company's too small that a failed Super Bowl commercial would tank them, They should not be doing said Super Bowl commercial.
Like
right?
I'm picturing like Anheuser-Busch basically just being like, okay, we need a 2-word ridiculous phrase, and that's how we are going to function.
Right.
We have what's up,
Right.
and we have dilly dilly. Okay, now what's going to be next for us? Dong cakes. Okay, dong cakes is going to be the one.
Now we're talking.
And now we got a commercial. Now we build off that. We start with the phrase and we build around that.
But it also it's just, but it goes to show like how much money also these major companies still put into marketing. Like even with the internet, it still requires them to put a substantial amount of money, obviously energy, into putting these brands out there. Something like Dilly Dilly, again, our own very own Beth Hoops can speak to this because she's done promotional work for Anheuser-Busch. Like those things just take off and people eat it up. And I think it was the one time where Bud Light bought out the hotel at the Super Bowl and turned the entire hotel into one massive party. Like, I think you're right, Gardner. At the end of the day, I think the most ridiculous and how silly it is, the more successful it is.
We're all kids.
Was the Blair Witch?
Yeah.
What was that marketing thing like?
That was guerrilla marketing.
Before that was viral.
Yeah, that was. And now the beauty about that, because I think are we coming up on the 25-year anniversary of Blair Witch?
I can look it up.
No, we're coming up on the 20th or the 25th.
20th.
20th. Okay.
Because they.
I think it came out the year year before I was born.
And they did a faux documentary on it, which blew up too, and that was still golden. Still at the end of the golden age of TV before internet had completely just ripped out a bunch of stuff from TV because it was believable and you didn't quite. It was like these are potentially based on maybe true facts, but this is
they ruined those actors' careers.
Oh man! And I was young enough. I thought it was real, but then I didn't enjoy it once I realized it wasn't.
I saw it in theaters.
It's not a good movie.
It's not a good movie, but it is to Tommy's point, brilliant marketing. It was just, as Chris mentioned, there was a documentary behind it, and it was guerrilla marketing at its finest. It was actually, I think, some would argue, gave birth to what we now know as modern day guerrilla marketing because it really worked on word of mouth. It was about, did you hear about this, and did you go see that, and do you think this is real or true or not? And I don't know if we'll ever get. Yes, exactly, and I don't think we'll ever be able to do that anymore, especially with the internet now. But yeah, that was a game changer. I think Tommy's right. The funny thing is, now that we look back on that movie, it really wasn't good.
Because I saw it without the marketing around it. I was just told about it after the fact, and like it's shaky. It gave me a headache.
Yeah.
The lines of dialogue are not good. Also, it's not scary.
Yeah, that was.
I don't understand the ending still.
You want to watch it with me?
I can. No. It'll give me a headache, but I can. We need to go look for Bigfoot, me and you, instead.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
July 16th, 1999, that movie was released, so we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary in 5 days.
I will say, and I'll admit this, before I realized it was what it was, I was on a horse at night in the middle of the woods alone, and I may have irresponsibly made the horse go super fast to get it back to where there was light
scared.
And stuff. Got
All
pretty
right,
scared.
little country boy.
I'll never forget that part. I was like, yeah, maybe one of those Blair Witches is out here.
Yeah.
I was
Chubby.
I'm not gonna lie. For a brother who grew up in the city, I understood the creepiness of Blair Witch because it's something about large woods and forests being eerily quiet that is unsettling.
Have you ever spent the night out in the woods, Travis? Without a tent or anything? Without like a tent?
No, I've always had a tent. No, I've always had a tent, yeah. But I've never been like, I've never been. I've walked through the woods late at night, walked through a rural area very, very late at night, but I knew where I was, so it wasn't too crazy.
Farmington?
It was, perhaps.
Walking to your car from a bar I took you to is not.
When I went up,
it was still a rural area. It still had a gravel road.
Me and my dad, when we went to Massachusetts last summer, we were driving in the dark and we got lost on these.
Were you Bruce?
What?
Oh, dancing in the dark.
Oh. Anyway, we were lost in this like forested road in Massachusetts, and like just the way we were looking at it and stuff, there's definitely ways people can get lost and stuff we will never find, and that's why I believe in Bigfoot. But like it was scary just because we didn't know where we were or even if there was a gas station nearby, and we had a car, so that stuff's scary.
No.
And then I stayed in Lizzie Portman's house.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Jesus Christ, man. Oh, Lord Christ.
Guys, it's been a fun show. We've been doing the old, new, fair or foul. Let's do some of that to finish up. We'll throw some topics out. We'll decide fair or foul to close out the show. Hit it, Gardner or Travis?
Travis?
It is time for the people's old, new, sort of new, different version, 2.0, maybe 3.0, fair or foul.
At this defining moment, change has come to America.
People often ask me,
you guys think I should turn fair and foul into an
animated
animated
segment?
series?
Is it a movement? Is it hope? I can't say for certain. Time will be a true test of its power. But I can say, fair or foul is now and forever for the people. Gather around the radio with your loved ones and hold on to your butts. It's now time for fair.
We give it back to you, the people.
Or foul.
Shout out to all my immigrant homies. ICE will be out in full force this weekend. Just a heads up.
It's this weekend now?
Finally send Gardner back to Ireland.
Yeah. So keep your head down, Tommy.
Do you think they'd have you back, Ireland?
I really do.
I don't know. I don't drink enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair I can make fun of my own people.
Well, go look for the monsters. Go look for cryptids in Ireland.
Looks like you've got one. Tommy, you got one for Travis to start?
Yeah, monster hunting. Like legitimate monster hunting.
Legitimate, sorry.
Foul. If you guys want to do some monster hunting, how about you go get those creepy pedophiles that live in our own communities? Those are the real monsters.
Oh.
Fair question. Travis, I'll throw it out there. Fair or foul, summering in the Hamptons?
Oh, that's funny that you bring it up. Fair, of course. Jerry and a few of our Jewish associates are going to be heading up there actually this weekend. I like the Hamptons because the pools are nice, and they have show-me's. So
good for you.
That's what eats.
Travis, fair or foul, being a dick to young up-and-coming comedians because you're insecure.
I think that is fair. I like projecting my insecurities on other people, especially inferior individuals such as Tommy. I think that every opportunity I get to disparage him only makes him stronger and a better comedian. So if that is what it's going to take to finally get him to reach his goal, then so be it. I'll continue to be tough on him.
Fair. Iron sharpens iron. Gardner, you got one? We don't. Travis not the only one. We can say it.
Travis, your analogy there. It's like when I hear from people that get upset about PC culture because now they get called out for being assholes. And now it's a bad thing. Like they can't. Oh, you're too PC. No, you're just an asshole. People are pointing it out to you now. You're trying to hide behind that.
Oh man. Fair or foul, guys. Our friend Michael Gaines called Danny Mac a rights holder for suggesting that both sides of the owners and players should work it out for Major League Baseball. If they would go to strike, it would be disappointing. Fair, Gaines is a hero we all need. He's going after Danny Mac. Come on.
They can't go after Danny Mac. I say foul.
Yeah.
I look, and I know Gardner, I know how much you, and I love Danny Mac. I love Danny Mac. Can I preface that even more? I love Danny Mac.
Can you preface it one more time?
Gaines is correct. He is absolutely 100% correct here. And it's understandable. Look, Danny Mac would not have his career if it wasn't for very rich billionaires. And he goes out of his way to protect very rich billionaires. I get it. I understand. Look, that's the hand that feeds you. That's the hand that keeps you employed. So if you have an opportunity to be the guy that defends billionaires, you're going to do it. So I get where he's coming from, but he's absolutely a rights holder. He has to understand that he can't be this voice of the people if every time he gets a microphone in front of his face, he's defending someone that's incredibly rich and powerful.
When I hear the term rights holder, I hear people use it in a way that it seems negative. But who cares? Is
Right.
my point, or is it? I mean,
at the end of the day,
so,
like I said, I think Danny Mac. It's understandable. He's had an incredible, long, successful, very profitable, rich career, and that's been provided by him because of the folks like DeWitt's. It's been because of the folks at Fox Sports. And look, if they were paying me what they were paying him, I probably would also go to bat for him.
Oh.
But that's the way it is.
Fair or foul.
If I was making Danny Mac money, I would absolutely throw everything I have convictions about under the bus.
Yeah. Okay. That's
You already do.
fair.
Fair then.
Oh,
Fair,
Tommy, you crying again?
fair
Oh,
or foul.
Tommy.
Fair or foul dating apps in 2019. Have they outgrown their use?
Yeah. They're bad. They're foul. They suck. They're fine, but they suck. It's not the way humans are supposed to properly interact. And if it's very outside of you just trying to get hooked up. If you're looking for a hookup, it's easy money. If you're looking for an actual relationship, I wouldn't bank on it.
Is there a reason you brought that up?
No, just something I thought about.
You on a dating app? I got one. Okay.
Girl's got a dog.
Whoops, wrong one. I cut the music out. Okay, you see Lee Elementary School there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. What they're doing,
Oh,
this Lee Elementary School, it's named after like Robert E. Lee. But what people are doing, what school districts are doing to save money in signage, which can cost over $1 million to change everything, they're trying to change the names of their schools that are like named after Robert E. Lee to different Lees, like other different people with the last name of Lee, so they can save money on signage. So they can just keep the Lee Elementary up like that. So fair or foul, just switching the Lee on those.
Like
Fair.
Getty Lee Elementary.
Yeah.
How do you not want to go to Bruce Lee Elementary School?
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Every little
I
kid
hate to get bullied there.
loves martial arts too.
Imagine going to Tommy Lee High School.
Oh, God.
Well,
Exactly.
I wouldn't be accepted.
What videos do they put on
How do you
half
get
days then?
How do you get accepted to that one? Talk about the 1%.
you know what? I would, if I had a child, I would
Greenwood.
want them to go to, say that as well. David Lee High School.
David
where
Lee?
they play the game the right way.
Bill Spaceman Lee,
Mm-hmm.
who I admire.
Lee's Chicken Ice Elementary School.
They could get real creative and go Early Army.
Yeah.
Remember him? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's a military veteran. Yeah.
But it's saving money.
That's what matters. I'm gonna say fair
Christopher
for just
Lee High
making
School.
as many just squirms as they possibly can when you're up against the wall.
Stanley Elementary School.
That's a
Oh,
good
that'd be
one.
That would be
Cool as ever.
dope. That would be brilliant. That would be very brilliant. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if most of the elementary schools go that way. You're talking about the guy that created everything that elementary schools love now. So who better than to have Stan Lee as the name of your elementary school?
The kids would be excited at first, and then would be disappointed afterwards, probably.
The way that
Wait. This is not what I expected here.
the way that many institutions of that place work, I would say somebody would try and do something really helpful, and they would name it, but they would name it after someone that spells Lee a different way,
Like
also,
L-E-I-G-H.
L-E-I-G-H.
or L-I or something,
Yeah.
where they're like, yeah, that didn't help us at all, and we have a crappier name now, so that'll do it.
Fair or foul, final one, if I can get one in there.
Yeah.
A fair or foul, Tommy being afraid to ask for help from me. Fair or foul?
Foul. You, I believe, are going to be back before too long, Travis, and I don't think you two are going to be able to be in the same room. The tension's palpable.
Uh-huh. I say foul.
Tommy? Okay.
It's
That's
dramatic
fine.
with the music in the background.
It is dramatic. He's being dramatic.
I'm holding my tongue. We'll talk in person.
You ain't gotta talk in person. I ain't gotta extend this off anymore. You don't have to worry about it.
No,
I'm
I'm
just
not
trying
going
to
to
help
ask
your
you for
career.
help.
Keep your name out my mouth, he says.
If
I'll
you
see you in the
if you
streets.
don't want if you don't want to mentor someone who's already in the industry who has connections that can get you going, and you don't want help
If
from
you
me
have
because
so
I'm
many
black and
connections, why are you
successful,
coming
then say
back to
so.
St. Louis?
That's how
Because I
powerful he is.
can. Thank you, Chris.
That's the retort I was looking for.
That's all that matters. That'll do it for Fair or Foul, a rousing way to end the show. Again, big thanks to all of our sponsors. Thank you, everyone, for listening, sharing, all that good stuff. If you haven't, add a friend to our Friends of All private group on Facebook. Do a lot of fun stuff in there, and Travis always gets people riled up. For Chris Gardner, the Stream Queen, congratulations on the Ascot All-Stars. For Tommy the Intern, for Travis in Brooklyn, I'm Chris Denman. We're back tomorrow live at 8 a.m. We'll see you then.
Peace. Tommy, you suck ass.